this is the road that my whole life and my whole research, and to be honest, George, it's almost not research anymore because I've been through great changes in my life in the last year. I've almost felt the layers coming off and layers coming off and layers coming off, and I've changed dramatically within myself, and as a result of that, these insights, if that's what people perceive them to be, it doesn't matter. Whatever's coming to me, what I've just been talking about, it's actually coming direct. It's not something that I'm reading reams of papers and accounts and stuff to come to a conclusion on. But as I come to these conclusions, I do come across extraordinary confirmations. I don't know whether you've seen this 20-minute presentation by a lady called Jill Bolte Taylor, who is a neuroanatomist, and if people go to my website davidicke.com and into the What is Reality archive, they can watch this. People haven't come across it. It was just an extraordinary confirmation of what I'm talking about. What happened to Jill is that she had a stroke, and she had a stroke in the left brain. But unlike most people who have strokes, where it kind of knocks you out early on, she was awake, conscious, and watched this unfolding. And being a brain anatomist, she was understanding it as it happened once it's got going. And what happened to her is that she realized something strange was going on, but she just thought it was just having a bad morning, and she got on a exercise machine, and she's on it while this strange feeling's hitting her. And she looked down at her hands, and her hands were more claw-like than hands, and she thought, strange, what's going on here? Then she looked at her arms, and she realized there was no point where her arms ended and the rest of the room started. It was like everything was fusing into one. This went on, and eventually she realizes she's having a stroke. It's in the left brain, and because the left brain's closing down, she is now filtering reality almost entirely through the right brain. And as she describes what happened, she went into a state where everything was one. There was no me and the rest of reality. Everything was one. She then, because if people watch her, she tells the story very well. But then she said, my left brain would kick in every now and again and say, hey, we've got a problem, we've got to do something. This is what the left brain does. It's very important to reality here, as long as it doesn't overpower perception in every way. And so she tried to get some business cards because she thought she would call someone at the office for help. And she describes how she's looking at these business cards, and the business cards just fused into pixels instead of being words and what you'd see on a business card. All that she could see was pixels and symbols. And she said then she looked at the phone and she couldn't see numbers. She could see pixels and symbols. And after a long time, she managed somehow to equate the symbols on the card to the symbols on the phone that she was seeing, and somehow rang the number. It took a long time for her to do this, and someone picked up the other end, and he must have said, hello, who is it, and all the rest of it. But she said all she heard was woof, 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 woof. And as she said in the presentation, he sounded like a golden retriever. She said, then I said to him, and in her mind she said, this is what I said. Hello, this is Jill. I've got a problem. I'm in trouble, right? Or words to that effect. And what she heard as she said it was woo, woo, woo. And she thought, I sound like a golden retriever. And what's happening here is the body is a computer. It's a biological computer. It's a biological holographic computer. It has the ability up to a point to think for itself. This is what it's doing all the time. It's taking in information from the environment, and it's reacting to it without us consciously saying, we need to react to this. It's a bit warm in here. It reacts because it is a biological computer. It's able to think for itself up to a point. And the computer is also a receiver transmitter, because we live in what I call a holographic internet. I'm sitting here now in this room, and in this room is wireless internet. I can't see it. I'm looking at a wall, I'm looking at books, I'm looking at a computer. I can't see the wireless internet. But if I tune my computer to the wireless internet, suddenly the wireless internet appears on my screen as graphics and pictures and text and everything. Well, our screen in the body computer is the brain, and also the genetic structure in general, that decodes frequencies like the wireless internet into pictures, into a holographic reality that we call the physical world. And the left brain takes vibrational communications, vibrational influences, and it turns them into words and the kind of communication that we understand as language in this reality. It's the left brain world again, the left brain of language. So once her left brain closed down, it's no longer decoding vibrational communications, i.e. the person on the other end of the phone speaking to her and her speaking to the other person in words, because it's not functioning properly. Just like when a computer on the desk is not functioning properly, it doesn't decode communications within itself to the point where it will produce the words and the graphics and everything in a way that it should. So her left brain is no longer decoding that frequency communication, which is what it is. I mean, just put your hand next to your mouth. It's frequency into words. And so she's not hearing words. She's hearing woo, 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 woo. And her eyes are no longer decoding through the brain pictures from the digital world that exists on one level. It's vibrational and digital on one level, and then into pictures. So all we're seeing, all she's seeing, because of the nature of the problem with her brain, is the digital level of reality. So she's seeing pixels and not words, and not the things that you'd normally see. And it's an incredible confirmation, her experience, of how reality is filtered through the computer. And depending how the computer filters reality, it depends how we experience it. And as she said and emphasized many times in the presentation, when she was in the right brain, all the stress of her life had gone, all the emotional baggage had gone, all these things just disappeared because they are left brain phenomena. The left brain is that which is connected to what we call time, the illusory passage of time that we get caught in this reality. And it gets caught in past, present, and future. And so it holds on to the past. It fears the future. And this is where all this emotional baggage comes from. Oh, my goodness, I wish I hadn't done that. Oh, I feel so bad about that. And all the rest of it. Oh, what's going to happen in the future? I'm so worried. Whereas the right brain, which connects us out into the great infinity, that's not got the same relationship to what we call time as the left brain. And therefore, past, present, and future are operating simultaneously to the right brain, though not the left. And so the goal is to find this whole brain level, this whole brain state, where you're accessing the infinite beyond, if you like, through the right brain, and you're bringing that through the left brain to be decoded in ways that we can decode and understand and communicate in this reality. But that it's a partnership between the right and the left, and not a dominance of the left, which is what we have in global society.
1989, I had a near-death experience, and so I came back with what I called the profound peace, and I got a sense of that oneness that I think you're talking about there, and it's such a mind-altering state that once you've I think experienced that, there's no going back. So my question then came to my own self, and it's one that I'll pose to you. When we change ourselves, and my guesstimation is that the highest good that we can do is try to evolve ourselves as much as possible while we're here. And in doing that, how much change, because if we're changing ourselves, how much change can we produce in our physical world?
Well, you know, we talk about evolution, and there are different ways of looking at evolution. When I think of the word evolution, I think of the evolution of the holographic reality, the one we're experiencing on a daily basis, and we think we're seeing with our eyes and hearing with our ears and all the rest of it. And that's basically the evolution of the computer, and consciousness working through a body computer. If it imposes or impresses its awareness, its greater awareness, upon the computer, then the computer will change. It will change in the light of that information, that understanding. it will become a much more open vehicle and receiver transmitter than it was before. But to do that, we have to move our point of observation from the level where we're looking in the mirror and thinking the reflection is who we are, when it's the experience we are having and the vehicle that's allowing that experience, to the fact that we are infinite consciousness having that experience. Once your point of observation moves, then your focus moves, and you are now in this world through the holographic computer, but you're not of this world in terms of the point of observation that you are viewing this world and perceiving this world from. What the whole system is designed to do, and in terms of those in the shadows, calculatedly and coldly designed to do, is to hold people in computer reality. And if we identify who we are with the reflection in the mirror, if we identify who we are with the five senses, not that we shouldn't, that be part of us, of course it's part of the experience, but that it be us, then we are moving our point of observation down to computer reality. And if we do that, we can get caught in the computer's version of reality, which is like a software program. The DNA and the genetic structure is like a hard drive, and it's passing on emotional traits, aptitude traits, reaction traits, fear traits, or personality traits from one to another. But all these traits can be overcome by consciousness becoming the governor of reality instead of the body computer. And this is why in so many near-death experiences that I've read about, and I've read about many because it's a very, very important area of understanding a near-death experience.